I now call the East Lyme Zoning Commission regular meeting of January 8th, 2026 to order at 7:31 p.m. Could we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, sorry. Well, welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a great holiday and are ready to rock and roll here.
Rock and roll.
So, Miss Jet Harris, are you here?
Yes.
Miss Kalal,
I'm here.
Miss Markovitz,
Here.
Mr. Pack.
Yep.
I'm here. Miss Uhas.
Here.
Alternates, Miss Edwards, Mr. Liska. Great. Miss Sesko. Awesome. All here. Our ex officio, Miss Hardy, is here. Mr. Mahalan, I see, is here. We're just missing our recording secretary, so thank you for taking minutes tonight. We're going to begin tonight with a public hearing. It's the application of ARCS Wireless Infrastructure, LLC, and New Singular Wireless PCS, LLC application for a Certificate of Environmental Compatibility and Public Need for the construction, maintenance, and operation of a telecommunications facility and associated equipment located at 306 Flanders Road, East Lyme, Connecticut. Just FYI, 306 Flanders Road is where Smokey O'Grady's is located. So we will open the public hearing. I just want to state that while this application is the sole jurisdiction of the Connecticut Siting Council, the East Lyme zoning regulations do direct the Commission to hold a public hearing under Section 31.1. Mr. Mahalan, did you run the legal ad?
Yes.
Thank you. And right now, if our secretary could read Attorney Ball's letter.
Memo to East Lyme Zoning Commission from Woolen Holland Zoning Official, Re 306 Flanders Road, East Lyme, Telecommunications Tower, ARCS Wireless Infrastructure, LLC, and New Singular Wireless PCS, LLC, January 8th. The applicant, David A. Ball, on behalf of ARCS Wireless Infrastructure, LLC, and New Singular Wireless PCS, LLC, is submitting a proposed telecommunications tower facility application on or about October 15, 2025 to the Connecticut Siting Council for review and possible approval. On October 16, 2025, Attorney Ball submitted a letter to the Zoning Department dated October 15, 2025, addressed to the Zoning Commission and informing the Board of its application for a Certificate of Environmental Compatibility and Public Need. The application was also submitted to other town departments, including the First Selectman's Office. As part of the community's review, the Board of Selectmen held a public hearing on November 19th to receive public input and consider the proposal. The Zoning Commission's role is defined in Section 31 of zoning regulations. This section was adopted in September of 2001. At that time, the cellular industry was in the development stage and regulatory jurisdiction for those facilities was addressed at the local level. As the industry grew, the state stepped in and gave the regulatory control to the Connecticut Siting Council, who has sole regulatory authority. Essentially, these facilities are treated as a public utility. Section 31 of the zoning regulations identifies in Section 31.1 that the Siting Council might eventually assume jurisdiction in these matters. This is evidenced by following the excerpt. Should jurisdiction over the siting of telecommunication towers or facilities fall outside of the town of East Lyme, a public hearing shall be held in accordance with the state statutes and East Lyme zoning regulations. The record of the public hearing and the findings of the East Lyme Zoning Commission shall be forwarded to the Connecticut Siting Council or other appropriate agencies of jurisdiction. Because the council has sole jurisdiction, the zoning commission's findings are relegated to the comment status. However, as the town's primary land use board, it is important for the board to add its voice to the proceedings of the siting council's review and evaluation of this proposal. Further, the applicant has submitted an extensive report which is on file in the town clerk's office and land use offices. In addition, the application materials are also available on the town's website. Regarding the commission review, Section 31 of the zoning regulations provides general standards found in Section 31.2. These regulations require submittal of documentation to evaluate any proposed location of a cellular facility. They encourage the co-location of antenna on existing towers, require towers on lots to meet minimum lot size in the underlying zones, and they seek to limit tower heights to the minimum necessary, require cellular facilities to meet setbacks from property lines, require a full zone clear of impediments should a tower fall, require landscape buffers around the facility perimeters, and they additionally require facility entry roads to be able to accommodate fire rescue apparatuses. Telecommunications facilities siting preferences include existing towers, existing structures such as non-residential buildings using existing utility poles, steeples, clock or bell towers, silos, or water towers. The regulations also provide for placement of panel antennas, dish antennae, or others. Accessory buildings and structures are addressed in Section 31.6. Section 31.8 provides for review standards. As the board is aware, you were directed via email to watch and review the applicant's presentation to the Board of Selectmen. While this presentation, in my view, was limited, it is the basis for the commission record of evidence and by which you must form your findings and comments. I, as staff to the Zoning Commission, attended the Selectmen's meeting at which the applicant's team gave their presentation. That meeting, I also provided some basic comments. A question is whether the property proposed for the tower at 306 Flanders Road, commonly known as Smokey O'Grady's Pub, is an appropriate location and has the applicant provided the necessary documentation to support the need of a cellular tower in this area. In my view, these are outstanding unanswered questions. Is there appropriate fall zone for a 135-foot tall tower? Are there other more appropriate locations for such a facility, such as surrounding properties with a higher elevation? I note that the testimony of the Board of Selectmen's hearing, the applicant stated they were eliminating on-site parking and would provide parking on another parcel. Any reduction of on-site parking would create a nonconformity. In addition, we would have to evaluate and approve such a plan. To date, zoning has not been approached to address this issue. In addition, it appears the applicant has failed to address the numerous local land use concerned and is bypassing the local land use authority. In conclusion, the zoning board has limited authority as previously noted. However, there are numerous outstanding unanswered concerns which the applicant has not addressed. The commission, upon completion of its hearing, should evaluate the comments in the record and forward those comments to the siting council for inclusion in their hearing record.
Madam Chair, excuse me, all is good, thank you for reading my memo, but I think we're out of sequence. We were going to read Attorney Ball's letter dated December 29th.
Yes,
As
do you
well
have
as
that?
mine, we were going to start it out with this final about
Will you read that, Nancy?
advice.
I don't have that record.
I've got it right here.
She doesn't have it.
Just a second. I've got it. I can go
Yeah,
ahead and
could you
read
read it, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
And this is from David A. Ball by email to William Mulholland, zoning official, East Lyme Zoning Department, 108 Pennsylvania Avenue, Niantic, Connecticut. Re 306 Flanders Road, East Lyme, Connecticut. Dear Mr. Mulholland, I am in receipt of your letter dated December 1st, 2025, in which you invited the applicants to make a presentation to the East Lyme Zoning Commission at a public hearing on January 8th. While we appreciate the request, the applicants will not be able to attend. You may be aware that the applicants recently attended a public information session at the town's request at East Lyme Town Hall on November 19th, 2025, even though the statutory deadline for public information session had expired. At that public hearing, multiple representatives of the applicants presented detailed information about the project and answered all questions. In light of the applicant's participation at this public hearing last month and the detailed information provided to the Commission in the technical report and the application, we believe that the applicant's attendance at another public hearing on the eve of the Siting Council hearing is not necessary, and we are confident that the Commission has all of the information needed to understand the project. Thank you again for reaching out to us. Very sincerely yours, David A. Ball.
Thank you. And Mr. Mulholland, will you put that letter into the record?
Madam Chair, I just gave you a file that contains the Kimball's letter, a copy of the full cell tower application. Board of Selectmen public hearing is on a USB stick that's also in that file, which is the evidence
Okay.
of which you're going to base your discussion on. In addition, I think we should ask all the members, or you should ask the members if they viewed for that hearing before we proceed any further.
I believe they have, but has anyone not seen it? You all have seen it?
Yes.
Yes.
We thank you for that. It also contains the minutes from that particular hearing and my memo. So those are the some of the evidence put into the record as the basis for what you're going to.
Okay, and I know the application is on our website and has been on our website in several places, including zoning under meeting materials for tonight. You've read Mr. Mulholland's memo, and also the minutes from the public hearing and the regular meeting are also in the file. Okay. Okay. So just to put everything kind of in context, as someone mentioned, we're pretty much on the eve of the Siting Council's meeting, but this is kind of what has transpired this year. June 23rd, the applicant sent a letter to our first selectman and planning director asking to meet on the proposed cell tower and asked the town to propose alternate sites if we desired, and offered to give a presentation to the public. However, no response was given. So July 3rd, the applicant resent another letter to the first selectman's office offering to do all this, and again, they received no response. October 15th, the applicant sent a letter to zoning, which was the first time zoning had heard about it, and our zoning official immediately raised the issue. So November 19th, the Board of Selectmen held a public hearing after a presentation by the applicant. It didn't seem like a lot of people knew about it. There were only a handful that showed up. The Board of Selectmen did vote in their meeting to mail their thoughts to the Siting Council for their meeting. They had the option of hiring an intervener to go in person, or they could have questioned them and stated concerns in person, but it was voted to send the town's thoughts. In Section 31 of our zoning regulations, it directs us to have a public hearing. We are the Land Use Committee, and send our comments directly to the Siting Council. So we wanted to give the public an opportunity for more people to come. Hopefully they had heard about it, so we could get more feedback that's, give the town more say. And the Siting Council could have a better idea of the concerns of our citizens. So that's where we are. After the hearing, we will meet in a regular meeting and discuss it. But before we go to the public, does the commission have any comments or questions?
As I understand it, we have no jurisdiction, and what we will be presenting to the Siting Council is just our recommendations. Is that true, Mr. Mulholland?
Yes.
Do I state my concerns about this now, or do I wait until the regular meeting?
Probably regular meeting.
Okay, because I do have several comments I'd like to make, and I can wait until the regular meeting.
I'm going to make a comment about what you just read, about in viewing the tape. It said that the town attorney felt like it'd be too expensive to further investigate or to see if that, was a good thing for our town. And so am I understanding that correctly?
She did say it would cost something. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else want to say anything now or wait till the regular meeting?
Oh, wait, I have a lot of stuff to say.
Okay, well, let's go to the public. Is there anyone here that would like to give their opinion? I see some whispers. Anyone would like to? It's our chance to give our thought or your thoughts of how you feel. Yes, sir. If you could state your name and address, please.
Yep. John Dravick, 18 Dravick Road. I'd like the commission to turn this down because it's what's the word? It's not complete. This application covered 4 miles, saying they couldn't find any sites. There's been a tower on the top of Ancient Highway at 155 feet that's 4,000 feet away that they never even saw. These people, ARCS, did a crappy job investigating. There's another tower at the golf course, which is about 1.25 miles away. ARCS never mentioned that either. So somebody didn't do their homework and has been handing you folks a pile of crap. I think that's all I have to say for now. If somebody else wants to speak. By the way, my tower has been signed off by Mr. Mulholland a couple of years back. It's got a certificate of occupancy. Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Dravick,
you.
can I ask him a question of what he just said?
John?
Sure.
Hi, Mr. Dravick. Can I ask you a quick question?
Shoot.
Did you attend the last, the Board of Selectmen hearing on this subject?
No,
Did you hear about it at all prior to?
no.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Good evening, Commission. Ken Thomas, I'm a consultant for John on this communications tower. I've read through the application, and like John said, it's very inefficient. I have some pictures here I'd like to present to the Commission, if I could, of this tower, and it's less than 1 mile away, above the location where they want to put this tower.
Could you
Okay.
pass it up here?
Sure.
And could we keep it to put in our file? Yes. Yeah. G. Make it Exhibit G. Thank you.
I'm sorry, and what's your name again?
Ken Thomas.
Ken Thomas. Thank you. Oops. Thank you. I can't see it. Right, oh.
Sure.
Mr. Thomas, is that the one that's up on Plum Hill?
No, this is up on Ancient Highway.
Oh, okay,
So it's right behind the hill of Costco.
yes,
If you're at the gas pumps, you look straight up, it's right there.
okay, yep.
It overlooks this whole area where they're trying to put this tower. A couple comments that I have, and I am an intervener with the Siting Council on this matter as well, because I think it's very important. Like, they did not meet all the regulations that they should have. They missed 2 towers within the 4-mile radius. This is one of them. The other one is the one on Drybeck Road. The windmill that is proposed there, that is already there existing, can go up to 130 feet, and it would adequately would supply that area for good coverage.
So you're basically saying that you believe that ARCS hasn't done their due diligence?
They haven't, because it wasn't in their application. They missed those 2 towers totally.
Have they spoken to you folks at all?
A little bit. I reached out to both of them. They are looking at both the sites, but I'm not too sure what the response is as of yet. But they both have looked at it, you know, on a minor basis. But hopefully, they'll change their mind and pull the application as well.
Do you have any knowledge of why they chose this location? Do you have any?
I have no idea. And I want to read you something. The Connecticut Siting Council, on their main page, it discusses what they do. And on the first page, it states that their responsibility under item 4 promotes the sharing of communication towers and to avoid unnecessary proliferation of towers. Okay? Now, this site is so close that it's a proliferation of towers, which also matches your zoning regulations. And the zoning regulation that it matches is under section 31-2-2-5. It talks about a fall zone. This structure, if it were to ever be built, would fall on the Cash Home Center property. The tower is so close to it. So that is in your regulation. They should have never proposed it for that one reason right there as well. And then under your regulation 31-2, it talks about general standards, reads in your regulations, the proliferation of communication towers sharing shared use of towers and structures is both permitted and encouraged. That's right in your regulations. So I believe that the site on Ancient Highway, it sits in the middle of 12 acres. It's not going to affect anybody. The site that they're trying to put up here is just in not the right location. Do you have any other questions?
I don't, thank you so much.
You're welcome. These are some of the facts that I think are very important, that they definitely missed. And if you look on the website for the Siting Council, this whole application is on there. It's docket number 545, and it will document, it will show you all the towers they found within a 4-mile radius, and these two were not on there.
Thank you. Oh, do you have a
Can I
question?
just ask you, are
And I
you,
think the town should deny the application as well.
so are you, you're an official intervener?
Yes,
Will you be going to the siting council meeting?
I probably will, yes.
Excellent.
Okay? But I thought you guys do have some authority. Your zoning regulations match what we just discussed. And I don't know if Mr. Mulholland is in favor, but I thought he was not happy with the location as well. But I don't want to speak on his behalf.
Mr. Mulholland is simply trying to point out the facts to the zoning board.
Okay.
To make their own determination.
Or
But I
Bill.
will add in your packets is an excerpt, not all of it, out of their application, and some additional maps, and in one of the photos you will see the fall zone around where they have proposed the tower location, which has been pointed out that indeed, if it was to fail, it really could possibly fall on that.
It could fall on cars, people, and, yeah.
So, Mr. Mulholland, at the Board of Selectmen, when they came, the people came, weren't any of these questions asked then? Or, because I didn't see anything where they asked anything like this.
Your zoning official does have some limited testimony, and they asked about a fall zone.
There were actually, I thought, a lot of good questions.
Well,
about-
I know what Mr. Mulholland asked, but
by the,
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, I think I saw another hand. Yes, sir. Come on up.
did a good job.
Hi, I live in the area of Ancient Highway, and several years ago we
I'm
went...
sorry, sir, what's your name,
My
please?
name
and
is
address?
John Tichy, T-I-C-H-Y. Several years ago, we went through the same situation where a cell tower was being proposed by AT&T in that area. AT&T withdrew that application for very good reason. That area they found was a Native American historical significance. It was a sacred site that the local tribes used for a lot of their ceremonies, and just had religious significance to the native tribes, okay? That's part of the requirement of putting a cell tower in. You have to fulfill that obligation. That same obligation also applied to what's up there right now. It's not a cell tower. It looks like a tower, but it's a ham radio tower, which is completely different. However, they still have to follow the same regulation that they have to check historical significance before they even put up one of those things. Normally, something that high is just a simple pole with guy wires. This is a regular cell tower, so it's not meant for cellular phone use, because AT&T's lawyers basically said they withdrew the application simply because of the historical significance of that site. I do a lot of work with reenactments, and I know a lot of Indian chiefs, and they talk about their history from going back hundreds and hundreds of years. It gets passed on verbally from one generation to the next. These sites are very important to the Native American people, which is why these laws were enacted, to protect those sites. There's also been precedents set in Massachusetts where a similar site was found, and they were also denied a cell tower. And so I don't understand why all of a sudden this doesn't seem to matter anymore. Check the notes on why AT&T withdrew their application. They did it for a very good reason. Okay, I mean, if you think about it, what the Indians are doing it's of religious significance. Putting something on a cemetery where you knock down all of the monuments would be almost the same thing. Same thing with desecrating a church in order to put a cell tower up. Just because it's Indian versus the white people doesn't matter. It's still, you're violating their rights. And that's the reason why those laws were enacted, to protect the rights of the Native American people.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any comments on the Flanders Road cell tower? I see two hands.
Let her go first.
Okay, come on up.
I have comments
Excuse
about...
me, your name, please?
Yes, Ann Santoro, sorry there. Ann Santoro, 11 Rose Lane, East Lyme. I have comments about the 161 tower as well as the Ancient Highway Tower, which is really relevant to a review of the 161 application, which is now before the Siting Council. So just want to begin by saying you have maybe double trouble ahead of you as a commission in terms of, assessing the 161 location and then considering perhaps the Ancient Highway location, now that organization, Ancient Highway Towers, is an intervener as of today in the case. So as far as the 161 tower, Route 161 tower behind Smokey O'Grady's is concerned, I attended the public hearing on the 19th of November, as you all were here. Very good that we had any kind of hearing. However, that hearing had 3 days' notice over a weekend, very short notice. I mean, if you blinked, you would not have, found it or whatever. And worse to me was that because the Office of the First Selectman ignored the various communications from the applicants, there was no formal informational session, which usually happens in these cases of cell tower applications. I recall back in 2015 when Mr. Drabeck was making his applications with the temporary tower, AT&T was making these applications rather. There were very informative sessions about the details. So that, unfortunately, the hearing on the 19th was very thrown together, in my honest opinion, and it was a Zoom meeting. The participants from the applicant participants were not even here physically. It was very confusing, and it was sort of catch as catch can. It wasn't a series of, as you've observed it yourself now, it wasn't a series of, here are the 20 slides that explain this application to you. So I found it very problematic. I was very happy in speaking to Mr. Mulholland and to find out that you all were going to have a public hearing. And hopefully even Mr. Mulholland today could even fill in the public a little more with some of the details. So here's where we're at. Basically, as far as the applicants, the 161 location is concerned, I agree with many of the points that Mr. Mulholland raised at the November 19th meeting and at that public hearing as well, and concerning fall zone. That's a main issue. You have where it is located. You have an apartment building, within hundreds of feet of it, I believe. I don't know that exact number because I found 2 or 3 different numbers for that. There is a cemetery right there. There is the Smokey O'Grady's parking lot, and the restaurant itself. So I think location-wise, that's problematic. Obviously, most towers, you try to have at high locations. I think its elevation is quite low, maybe 53 feet above sea level. Mr. Mulholland mentioned a number of things which I think were very important. He talked about the architectural review area. This is in the heart of the Flanders district, and he made the point, which I agree with, that much has been done over the years to kind of clean up that area. And towers are unsightly. I mean, you can try to disguise them, but they are odd and don't go with the landscape usually. So I think that was a point he made. I don't know the details of the architectural review zone, but that's something that you may want to think about. Other items that he did bring up, he talked about drainage, he talked about wetlands, aquifers, so there was other hazards, other issues. So I think he gave a very good summary that evening, so I really want to belabor that very much. I think the key thing is that what was a disappointment for me was that the town, through zoning, through planning, through your town engineer, didn't review the application. Time limits, time deadlines had passed, but have not been able to review this and provide a coherent, commentary to the siting council. I hope that happens now, where if your conclusion is that it is inappropriate or there are holes in the application, I hope that can come forth. The town of East Lyme is not an intervener in the case, so you are in that netherworld or whatever, netherland of basically being able to give commentary, and so you can't cross-examine and do all that as the town had done in other previous cases. So that said, I'm hoping for some sort of a deep dive, and certainly these offices, these departments, that's their responsibility. I think that's the town's due diligence right there, is to give that information to siting council. I would just like to point out that there is a schedule of deadlines, so I'm hoping that other deadlines are not missed along the way. Until January 22nd of this year, the town can still intervene if it so chooses. Individuals can, organizations can intervene as well. So that revised schedule is in that set of materials. So that's an important thing to think about, deadline for the municipal comments. Just one point I'd like to make about that, if I could. Individuals such as us who live somewhere in the neighborhood of the ancient highway tower, we may be at odds with the town's opinion. So, I think it's great that we can sort of tag team, if you will, but we may have very different opinions. So I'm just hoping that members of the public understand that, and I just wanted to point that out, that you as a member of the public, don't have to join the town in your commentary. You can comment directly, and those instructions are given in the application materials that the siting council has. So that's very important, because back in the day, in 2015, 2016, we pretty much, our group at the time, who was contesting the location of the cell tower on Ancient Highway, we many times, were in total, agreement with the town's position, but there were times we had a different opinion, so it was important to keep in our respective lanes. As far as the Ancient Highway Tower goes, go ahead. As you probably know, and it's now it's been stated here, there is that tower is a radio tower. And its elevation is 155 feet, as Mr. Drabeck said. I feel that it is still an inappropriate site for these cellular tower panels. I noticed in the application, the request for intervener status, the comment was made that the tower could go from 155 feet to 195 feet, and that it can accommodate 5 cellular panels. When that application went through the town, I don't recall, and I don't think my neighbors also recall, I mean, perhaps Ms. Mulholland would comment on this later, that, you know, that was the sort of agreement made. In fact, I did want to provide you with there was a stipulated judgment in the case. That case did go to court. This commission at the time, I believe, Ann, you were on it, Ann Thurlow, Norm Peck, and Denise, you were on it as well. You all denied that permit, and then the case went to Superior Court. There was subsequently a stipulated judgment, and in that stipulated judgment, it reads, the tower will be 155 feet tall. This is the agreement between Mr. Drabeck and the town of East Lyme, and that it would be painted gray to blend with its surroundings. So I just wanted to provide that to you as a reminder that, you know, I think this is a significant impediment to perhaps using that tower for those panels. And as my neighbor, John Tichy, commented, a second reason is that at the time, AT&T, back in 2015, before the radio tower, this was in its application to put up a cellular tower, withdrew its application following an adverse effects determination by the Mohegan tribe. And I have a copy of that letter as well. So I wanted to submit those for the record tonight. I also, there's so much history. It was such a long and drawn-out endeavor for the neighbors surrounding Ancient Highway, for Mr. Drabeck himself. There was subsequent lawsuits, et cetera, et cetera. But the radio tower came in later, a different set of standards that applied for that. So that happened, and that's the way it is. But I do want to, there may be another location that Mr. Drabeck has, as he's mentioned, at the golf course, whatever. I do think, back to the 161 application, definitely deficient in explanations as you go through the application and take a look at alternate sites. Not great explanation given. And if history repeats itself, a very important thing to look at here is why can the lease, where the existing service is being provided, right along 161, the existing tower, we'll call it, it's not really a tower, but supposedly it's going to be decommissioned. I would highly recommend that someone do a little deep dive into that to see if that's really the case, or is it just failure of negotiation? Because what happened in Ancient Highway, the Ancient Highway case, it all started because the tower at the Orchards was being decommissioned. But guess what? It was recommissioned following all this stuff. You go by way of China. So my suggestion is, shortest distance between 2 points kind of thing, figure out if this can be still used.
That was actually the advice of the town council. You were there at the first selectman meeting, that possibly the first selectman could get with Eversource and get the
Yes.
lease extended for AT&T, which I'm hoping he will do.
Right,
So-
and it might be a matter of money, more money was asked. I don't know the rationale, I haven't heard anything, but I'm just guessing here. So I definitely think that's a starting place and a thing to mention for sure. But, just want to hand out these documents to you. I also have a little, I know, but just as a reminder, and of course, Mr. Drabeck's property is his private property. It wasn't federal land or anything like that, or state land. So, but there was an adverse effects determination. And if anyone is wondering what these mounds looked like, I do have a picture of one from the area of Ancient Highway. So, and I'm just going to submit it for the record. It's just an example taken in 2015. So you have a clue.
So you have 3 items to submit?
3 items to
Okay.
submit.
HINJ.
Yeah, and my last point is, and perhaps Mr. Mulholland can address this, I have not been able to find out too much information, but there is a radio tower in the capital improvement plan that is planned, and money has been allocated for it. I have not spoken with Julie Wilson. I have not spoken with anyone in emergency services or anything about it. But it would be good to know that's going to happen, it looks like, or is it beginning to happen? Maybe there's an RFP that's gone out. So that's something that has to be looked at, because if the reason given, for this tower is not just extra cellular service on the 161 tower, but also additional radio communication for the town, it would be very helpful to figure out, okay, we're going to be building another radio tower. I understand it's to replace the tower by Flanders School here. So
that if they recommissioned the other one, we could have like 3 of them, potentially.
Well, I mean, the question is the 161 existing, it's kind of almost on a street pole, if you will, if when you see it, it's up a little bit on the hill. That is the one that's being decommissioned, which is causing this other one by Smokey O'Grady's to have to be, for there to be an application for, let's say. I'm referring to radio tower communications separate, but I heard repeatedly the night of the hearing, this is going to be great for town emergency services. We can have additional radio communication, and redundancy is good. Redundancy, but it may be total overkill. And we seem to be going to be putting up. That's in the plan, the SIP plan. That we're going to be putting up some other kind of radio tower. So I think we need some detail on that. I think that would help. So I'll leave with that. But any questions? I mean, the history of the ancient highway tower is voluminous. So I won't go into that. But if you have questions, I could answer that.
Okay.
But I will submit these. And I'll
If you
give
could
these
leave your exhibits.
Yes, with Mr. Mulholland here.
I'd like to see them too.
Yes, okay, let me give you the photo, the stipulated judgment, and I had one more, the adverse effects
Was there a
letter.
recommended tower? Did you have a recommended tower?
I do not, because I don't feel I have that skill set to, go through the engineering gymnastics. I feel as though what was severely missing in that November 19th presentation, or it was like a thrown together presentation, was the question came up about other sites, but there was no detail. So it's in the application, but that's the kind of thing that an information session, back in October, or earlier in the summer even, would have been good to have, maybe more than one of them, where the applicants walk you through. And I recall, Mr. Drabeck's, that in that situation, we were walked through, we didn't have 100 questions about appropriate sites. So, well, thank you. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. Is,
The secretary noted the time that Mr.
yes, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak tonight? Now's your chance. Yes, come on up. Come back up.
Ken Thomas again. Just to verify the Indian pilot stones, they're never documented on the registry, ever. So once that tower's up, it's already existing tower. Your regulations in the corridor states that we have to do co-location on that tower for any future wireless carriers that may need it. And we did offer communications to the town as well for their emergency communications. So I just wanted to verify that with you.
Okay, thank you. Do you have something to say?
I just want to make sure that we focus on
The Flanders Road Tower, yeah.
Very helpful, and we understand that
Mm-hmm.
we need to focus.
Yeah, it's nice to get the whole picture, but we are here primarily for the Flanders Road tonight.
I just want to make sure that you knew that was in your regs, that you state that as well. Whatever's existing, you have to use. It's a co-location.
Thank
That's why it
you.
was designed that way. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to? Yes, ma'am. If you could state your name and address.
Susan Tishy, 9 Bittersweet Drive. I just want to say that 10 years ago, our neighborhood fought to stop that cell tower. And the majority didn't want it then, and we don't want it now. Because our home values will go down, and it'll be ugly. And that's what you're going to see when you look out your back door. Do you want it in your backyard?
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Are you sure? Anybody? Okay, I guess we will close the public hearing.
I make a motion that we close this public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All righty. We were going to have the application of Jerry Loken for East Lyme Parks and Recreation for a special permit under Section 20.1.2F of the East Lyme zoning regulations to construct an ADA accessible trail and improve the existing parking area for Darrow Pond at property located at 16 Mostaway Road, East Lyme, Assessor Map 40.0, Lot 5. I can tell you they did not get all their information ready, so I would like someone to make a motion to continue this, and they will come at a later date.
I make a motion that we continue the public hearing for the application for Parks and Rec. I second that.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, we will continue that hearing. We'll move on to our regular meeting. And the regular meeting is the application of ARCS Wireless Infrastructure, LLC, and New Singular Wireless PCS, LLC, application for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public need for the construction, maintenance, and operation of a telecommunications facility and associated equipment located at 306 Flanders Road, East Lyme, Connecticut. So now's our time for discussion.
Well, I feel there's many downsides to this particular site, not the least of which the land area is only, I think it's 3/4 of an acre. How much of that square footage is going to be taken up by this tower? Smokey O'Grady's is going to lose parking, and they're opened up a can of worms here because they've got people parking on the lot next door already. And, so there is that. But the other thing is there are major drainage problems on that site. Smokey's, I might add, has the best chicken wings in town. So my husband and I have been known to go there upon occasion. And whenever there is a major rain event, storm, snowmelt, there is a giant lake back there. And I don't know that there has been any, in this application I couldn't find, any way to address that drainage problem. And what happens, where does that tower fall, if it falls, or when it falls? I just don't, the site is just absolutely not appropriate. I know that Mr. Drabeck's property has not been taken into consideration. This meeting really wasn't about that, although we appreciate his input. But there are several other sites, including a lot of acreage behind Motel 6, other sites that were not even considered. And now all those are listed in the application. The ones that were considered, not the ones that are, not the other areas that should have been considered. I think that's about all I have on that. But that's how I feel. I feel it's a highly inappropriate area.
I also noticed in the application they stated, well, it's 100 feet away from the wetlands, but the regulations, our regulations are 300 feet. It should be away from the wetlands. And also, isn't there some kind of diesel, what did they call it? Diesel, pardon?
Generator.
Yes, the generator there that would be close to aquifers and wetlands. I don't know if that's been thoroughly vetted.
Well, I think every tower, every lease that would be on a tower has their own generator too, if I'm not mistaken.
The other thing, this tower is, imagine a building 13 and a half stories tall. That's how tall the tower is. Flanders Road, where we're trying to keep things in a New England style. And it's going to be there for 50 years.
I absolutely also understand the need for better service. I live on Boston Post Road. Our service really stinks out there, especially if you have Verizon. So I am not against a cell tower. It is just not an appropriate site for this one. But as a zoning commission, I think all we can do is make recommendations. I'm not sure anybody's actually going to listen to them.
We definitely will. That's why we wanted to have this meeting.
Yeah.
So
Right.
we don't know what the Board of Selectmen is sending, but we wanted to send our thoughts because we are the Land Use Committee. Yes.
Yeah, I want to, Denise stole my thunder there. I was going to mention that we definitely, I mean, I frequent the businesses in that area, and if you go down there, you don't have any service at all. So I agree that we need that, but when I was reviewing the material, I noticed that all of the places that they were asking were all on Flanders Road, and I thought to myself, why weren't they looking on the Boston Post Road? Why weren't they looking in other places? Why didn't they look up the Chesterfield Road? So I was curious as to why they only stuck to that one area, and I think that they didn't search out other places, so.
Well,
so
It
I-
seems
my
like
s-
it's easy to get to. It's flat. Peanuts.
Yeah,
Well, my cynical thought about the whole thing is that the property is not owned by Smokey O'Grady. It's owned by Esmeralda LLC out of New London. I think that she was perhaps, had some money flashed in front of her and said yes right away.
Sure.
That's my feeling. I could be wrong.
on that thought, though, what if someday that person is not the owner of that property, and you have the issue where it becomes non-conforming because they're taking away the parking spaces, so that's another issue.
They already have unpermitted parking
Parking.
there.
I'm gonna interject. Apparently the parking on the north lot, which has never been vetted by zoning or approved by zoning, it's an illegal parking improvement. Doesn't mean it couldn't be, but at this stage it's not, so I'm gonna be obligated to send a notice out, and they're gonna need to address it in some fashion. In addition, off-site parking cannot be counted towards the required parking for use on a property. It can be considered overflow informally. They may be able to add parking there if it's informal. So that if you want to expand the building, particularly the public floor area, you need to account for the parking. So eliminating parking may make it non-conforming and become problematic in the long run.
Mr. Packard?
I think that's the problem where we have some power and some influence, that creating a nonconformity that's in our ballpark.
I believe it is as well.
We have a lack of information here. There's no evidence of shared parking agreement between Barry's and Smokey O'Grady's.
They're both owned by Esmeralda.
Barry's, Smokey's parking lot has never been lined. We have no idea how many parking places there are there.
Exactly.
Subtract the lake. And so that issue alone, to me, dealing with Smokey's, you may have power to prevent this just going after
There may be
that
something
property.
there, if you don't have parking for your patrons, you don't have any patrons, you don't have any business.
But as far as we're concerned, without a shared parking agreement, it may be
It's not-
becoming non-conforming. There's not enough information here for us to
Right,
really
so
tell.
From zoning official, jurisdictional issue, I'm going to be required to send notice to them saying, you've installed this parking, there's no site plan, there's no approvals, you will have to cease and desist from using it and eliminate it at this time until such time as you come in and attempt to get it permitted, which they may be able to do, but it wouldn't be recognized as parking that would count toward an expansion of the restaurant. It would just be
Does anyone else have a comment on?
Yep, I do. In 2025, Yale's study found that 5G frequencies altered brainwave activity during sleep in people with specific gene variants, suggesting genetics might influence sensitivity to wireless radiation. That tower is in a concentrated area where it's mixed use. There's apartments in that one building. There's a lot of people there. This goes along with, I don't agree with the location of it, as Denise said. I don't agree with the location. I think that they need to go back to the drawing board and look for something that is a little bit more safer and responsible for our town. They've just done so many new studies now. I mean, when you're talking genetics and cancers, the firefighters and stuff like that they've come up with, loss of memory and stuff, things that are actually documented. It's really concerning, and I think this town owes it to the people in this town to leave no stone unturned. Let's figure it out. Already there's all kinds of red flags going up everywhere, and somebody needs to pay attention to it.
Mr. Mulholland, you gave a couple of examples of other locations that I thought were really good.
Yeah, I did too.
Can you mention those?
Yeah, you know, up in the area of Motel 6, there's plenty of land that's been acres in the back of that area. I'm sure many of the property owners would like to have a contract.
And that's a high elevation.
It's a higher
Yeah.
elevation. I certainly don't know whether that the ownership would be open to that, but it's in a location where if there was a tower in that area, given the construction activity and the expansion of the width of I-95 in that area, I would assume it might disappear in the infrastructure, given that busy industrial commercial corridor of the highway. In addition, you have the condos in behind Costco up on the hill. They've got plenty of area up in that area, and that there's a lot of coverage possible in that area. You have, I believe, maybe next to the old Wendy's in that area, there may be a location that's possible. These are areas that never really came under discussion. There's something I thought was something before it's something we. And there may be other areas within that jurisdiction. Another example is, as you may recall, as a commission, you have an affordable housing application on Boston Post Road in the last couple of years, where the elevation of the property is actually pretty high and rocky. Are there other locations? I believe there are, and more appropriate, in my opinion.
And what's too bad is when they sent that letter in June, they asked the town to talk about other locations. But now it's like 2 weeks before their meeting, and last-ditch effort here to get them to think of something else.
Well, I did read too, and I'm under the assumption, Mr. Mulholland, maybe you can correct me with this, that the Siting Council really wants it to go in a place where residents are feeling comfortable, right? They don't really want to upset East Lyme and, the people in it and stuff like that. They want to do a good job. They want to do right by us, correct?
No, I believe so. I've testified before the board. It's a board made up of folks that have come to the board. And they review a lot of applications. I was on the website today. They do a lot of reviews. And so they should have a lot of expertise. They have professional staff. So I agree that I believe that they would certainly want to be helpful to every community where they can be.
And Mr. Mulholland, I'd like to thank you for speaking up at the Board of Selectmen public hearing that they had, because had you not been there to speak up, then they would have just done it and nobody would have been able to weigh in, residents wouldn't have been able to come in and everything like that. But I am curious to know, when were you notified about this?
In the evidence that was submitted this evening, there is a cover letter that
October.
we were going to read, but I don't think you guys read, dated October 15th. I think you have it, Madam Chair. You might want to read it.
Yeah, we do have it. We have it.
From David Wallace, the East Lyme Zoning Commission.
I think we have it right here. Is
This
that's the one
is-
dated October 15th?
I have the January 8th.
Would you like me to read that? I've got it right here. Wait a
Yes,
minute.
please.
Oh, okay. I have it.
I will just note that that was attached to their documentation submission.
October 15th, 2025, East Lyme Zoning Commission, Town of East Lyme, 108 Pennsylvania Avenue, Niantic, Connecticut, regarding ARCS Wireless Infrastructure LLC and New Singular Wireless PCS LLC, proposed telecommunications facility at 306 Flanders Road, East Lyme, Connecticut. Dear Zoning Commission, I'm counsel for ARCS Wireless Infrastructure LLC. I've enclosed a copy of an application for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public need. This application was filed on behalf of ARCS Wireless Infrastructure LLC and New Singular Wireless PCS LLC with Connecticut Siting Council on or about October 15th, 2025. Please contact me if you have any questions. David A. Ball.
Thank you. Do you know if this ARCS wireless infrastructure is FOIA-able?
I don't believe it is a private company. I would have to check on that. Because they have submitted some documents to public entities, so it may be, but I would want to check legal on that.
So this is all the communications that they sent to the Board of Selectmen, right here, what we have in our packet?
On the zoning.
No, they sent the ones June and in July to the
Okay,
Board of
that's what I
Selectmen.
wanted to know, June and July, okay. Thank you.
Okay, if we want to send our opinions to this council, we need a motion that lists our concerns. And right now, I'll give you what I have as a list for whoever wants to make the motion. We have concerns about the fall zone. This is from what we've talked about in the public, the unpermitted parking problem at the location. Other sites are available. The architectural, the look of it, the drainage problems, the diesel fuel near wetlands and aquifer, radiation issues. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, have they done any studies?
Yeah.
Any newer studies besides the one that we have, Yale, from 2025 about the impact?
So that's one of the
Yes.
issues, yeah. Anybody want to add to that?
Just a question on the diesel tank. I mean, every building on Flanders Road has a fuel tank. Well, a lot of them do. To heat the buildings. I would imagine this tank is probably not much bigger than a regular business fuel tank. So I think the diesel is not really going to have any.
I think it is, because there's flooding back there and there's a lot of water back there, so I think that the diesel tank is an issue that needs to be addressed. I mean, like it was stated here tonight, it's like a lake back there. They get a lot of rain, they don't have good drainage.
I don't
So-
think we know how exactly far it is away from wetlands. They stated it was at least 100 feet, but our regulation is 300 feet.
Say 300, and they used to be 500, but then when Costco came, this commission made it 300. So I think that bumping it any further back than that would...
300 is the review area, not doesn't mean you can't build anything there.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know if they've even reviewed it to the 300.
Well, I feel like that's a pretty comprehensive list of our concerns.
Mhm.
And I'd be willing to make a motion that
Okay.
we
Do you
address-
want this? Go ahead.
I would say leave out the radiation. You can't, the Siting Council Law, 1996, you can't rule against placement of a tower due to risk of safety. It's one of those things that's carefully regulated and it carries no weight. But you can leave that out.
well, I think it's good to have the information for people in this town that have a right to know. I mean, what happens 5 years from now? Everybody's kids getting brain cancer. Well, they have to have something.
Everybody in town would have brain cancer by now. I think there's a lot
Well,
of
I still think that anytime we can get information that serves our public, I think we should do it. They have it.
But I mean, this is to go to the siting council, not to our town.
Yeah.
Right.
This is just, so.
Well, I'd like to know what they have as far as studies, because I know they have to have some information. I'd be interested to know what it is.
It's been hotly debated, and they control the amount of It's in.
I understand all of
It's
that,
in-
but I still want to know what they have. They have studies done. This is a big corporation, and we have a right to know what they have.
Well, right now, we're kind of under the gun because this has to get to the siting council.
They'll either have it or they won't.
Well, I prefer that they have it.
Yes.
Great list. Part of the motion may be that the chair with staff drafts a letter based on the comments of the record of the hearing and forward those comments so we can glean the comments from the hearing and the minutes and send those up to the siting council. That may be a way to
Would that satisfy everyone?
facilitate everything.
Yes.
Satisfies.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, then, let's phrase this motion. I make a motion that we draft a letter to the siting council with our concerns, including the fall zone of 135 feet, parking at the location, other sites not put into consideration, application not complete, other towers are available, missed 2 towers, a proliferation of towers. Let's see, what is this here? Only 3 days' notice for the hearing, public hearing with the first selectman, low elevation, not the look that we're looking for at that end of town.
We have a
The
design
architectural
review,
design?
yes, architectural, doesn't
Design
fit within our
review.
architectural guidelines.
Concerns with drainage on the property. Do you want to mention this as well?
Yes.
Diesel tanks, proximity of wetlands and aquifers, the unpermitted
Yeah,
parking.
we mentioned that, and I don't know if,
Well, do you want to use the word non-conforming with the
I
parking?
think we
issue?
mentioned
Non-conforming parking, we did mention that. Anyway, I make a motion that we draft a letter to the siting commission, siting council, stating our concerns as listed.
that. Is there a second?
Evidence in the record.
I'm still not,
As evidenced in the record.
As evidenced in the record.
We have a motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
oppose, for the reason of no, not even asking for a survey from them and the information they have, how it relates to the radiation and stuff like that in that area, since it is a populated area where people reside, not just do business.
Okay, it passed 5-0. Or 5-1, sorry. Yes. Okay. I think we're done with that. And I personally hope the town still has till the 22nd to hire an intervener for the town, which I think the town deserves and we always have before. So I hope our ex officio relays that message to our first selectman. I also hope he meets with Eversource to see if the lease can be extended on the current tower.
Would you like to enter that into the record as a motion?
Do we want to make that a motion?
Make a motion that we submit something to the selectmen, the Board of Selectmen, asking them to take into consideration our recommendations
Of an intervener
and of hiring an intervener.
Yeah, and prior to the deadline.
yes,
That's
and
coming
also to talk to Eversource about extending the lease on the tower. Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Pass 6-0. Again, the application of Jerry Loken for Eastline Parks and Recreation has been continued, so we'll move on to the minutes. Has everyone read them, and do we have a motion to approve them?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the meeting of December the 4th.
second,
All those in favor?
Wait,
aye.
I make a comment. There was something about who was going to be on the committee in those,
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that part yet, the new business.
no, about that Norm's name was mentioned as being on the committee, and so I thought that was odd. I thought it was just you and me.
It's just me and Kathy.
Yeah.
I didn't see Norm's name on it.
Huh?
For the subcommittee
For the
for,
subcommittee for,
Yeah, that's later, we're not there yet.
I
it's
know
on
it
the
was
minutes.
She's talking about what was in the minutes.
Okay,
So I think that needs a correction.
Can someone, we'll
I
check
don't
to
even
see
have
if
'em.
it's in there, if so. we'll
I read
take
them
it out.
online. I did read them.
Okay,
I read them in our email.
all right. With that amendment,
I would be good with it.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
And abstain.
And one abstention. Thank you. All right. Does anyone else have new business tonight? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
I just have something about the subcommittee.
Well, that'll be.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. In your packets tonight, they did give us everybody's contact information and the dates for the meetings this year.
Yay.
So make sure and take that home. Public delegations tonight,
The new business, did you do that?
it should be, pardon?
Did you do the application with Jerry Lappin?
She did.
Yep, yeah. Oh, no, this is a different one. Seawall replacement.
Oh. I need to schedule that with new business.
Application of Jerry
Jerry's a
Logan.
busy guy. It's application of Jerry Walken for East Lyme Parks and Recreation for coastal area management CAM review for a seawall replacement for property located at McCook's Beach, 8 Atlantic Street, Niantic, Assessor Map 11.4, Lot 175. And you will, okay, thank you. So we'll move to public delegations, and that is the time for public to make comments on land use items that were not on the agenda tonight. Nope? Okay, Mr. Mulholland, what do you have for us?
Good for tonight.
You're good? Okay.
We're gonna have some applications, so we're gonna get busier as the spring pushes started.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Hardy?
I'll be brief because I'm still recovering from last night's Board of Selectmen meeting. So, and 9 o'clock meeting tomorrow morning at the Historic Cemetery Commission. So, we're working, of course, on filling vacancies for boards and commissions that are not elected. And we're fortunate that we live in a town where there are a lot of people who are willing to volunteer their time and participate and help us to continue having the quality of life and the quality of town that we've come to expect. So we began working just on people who wished to be reappointed to various boards and commissions which are not elected. There's 45 vacancies.
Wow.
We made 45 separate motions last night
Oy.
to appoint those people. So, so now we will go to people who wish to fill some of those vacancies, which we have not compiled that list yet, but that will be coming out. So if you could look for that list online, and if there are any people that you know that might be willing to help on some of those commissions. So these would be any commissions that are not elected that are appointed. So, for instance, the Commission on Aging would be one, our historic commissions such as Brookside Farm. These all have vacancies that will be coming up for new appointments. 250th Committee, we plan to begin more meetings, this volunteer committee, to put together things, activities and things to get the town involved. We'd hope to get a better start than we have, but most of the people we know are already busy. So this is an informal committee to make recommendations, to plan events to celebrate the town, and to try to then put up a master schedule so we don't have 4 things happening on the same night, and we can't attend all of them. So we have some proposals so far that various organizations are willing to put forward and organize themselves. And so if you know of anybody that's interested in coming forward with a plan for any particular event, we will be meeting on the first and third Thursday of the month, because you people don't start till 7:30. So we can start at 6 o'clock and then perhaps manipulate some of you into,
Nice try.
into some of the things. We have also had 2 public hearings and extensive discussion on possibly bringing in automated traffic enforcement safety developments. As this has been first proposed, we would start off with a small number of these cameras, which would be located in certain sections of town. We thought initially that we would start with 3 and possibly have those in the school zones. These are fully automated. It takes the license plate number, the make and model of the car, and there is no direct personal contact. There's no arrest made. This is handled by whatever vendor group the town might suggest, and the money that is collected from the fines would then, a portion of that would be turned over to the town to use as it wished to enhance transportation in terms of we could use money for sidewalks, which has been a big ongoing request, walking paths. I had inquired if we could use the money to hire an additional police officer as we are understaffed, and although it would seem to make sense, no, we cannot use the money for that. So we've had 2 public hearings on that. There was a lot of input. The majority of people that spoke were not in favor of this, and the conversation began to be about the lack of enforcement of speeding regulations in the entire town. And that was what the majority of people, which the room was full, but there was their basic concern. The high traffic speed in town, same type of thing that we all see when we're driving, that people just don't pay attention. And we have people that have been clocked going 80 miles an hour on Flanders Road, which is just a formula for disaster. But I see that I know that you've all experienced some of this yourself, that if you're going on the speed limit, then you're in danger of getting rear-ended because the people behind you just want to get by you, even though there's no passing lane. So that finally came to a vote. It was 4-2, and I voted against that, as well as Mr. Diebel on the board. The 2 of us were the no votes, that we felt that this needed additional study and that there were additional concerns to be addressed so that the public felt secure, and that this was the right move to have. So we will undoubtedly, after we do some more discussion, I hope that we'll have another public hearing. So there are a lot of little, shall we say, as we think about the traffic, there's lots of little side roads here. So that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there any discussion? We've all seen everybody speeding, but I have seen pollutions, particularly at the intersection of this category.
Yes.
Town officials, town trucks, school bus drivers, police officers, all running the light, and I mean running the light, not even slowing down. And everyday folks. So that's probably one of the most dangerous, but I haven't heard any discussion about that kind of activity as opposed to speeding.
That has been brought up to the board
That's a rough section.
as a real danger zone, and particularly as you folks are considering work on East Patagonic with sidewalks and that sort of thing, those regulations, I think that this is going to be perhaps one of the first target areas. Whether we go with this plan or not, that is definitely one of the high problem areas. And we're all on the roads, we're all driving, we see it firsthand, and it's a big problem in town.
Because there's a lot of seniors in the hill, as they come down to the light and trying to get out. With the light, people are running the light. I know almost observed 2 or 3 broadsides. I mean, it's really dangerous. I haven't spoke up about it because I just...
Well,
since it's come on.
it's being highlighted, it's been brought up before, and particularly with the construction phase that might go on there, that further enhances the problem. So, anybody else?
Thank you.
I just have a quick question to ask Bill.
Go ahead.
Mr. Holland, any update on the affordable housing, a moratorium that we voted on?
I do know.
Does the moratorium, does that stop this new law that's going on? Does it affect it at all? Not stop it, but does it affect it?
Actually, Attorney Bleasdale's coming in February
good.
to give us the effect of the new law, and we can also, he's the one that's working on affordable housing, so he'll give us an update on that.
And he will be here live in person. We've already...
I think it's the second meeting in October, or February, yeah.
Perfect.
We continue to work behind the scenes to make sure you guys are informed.
We just scheduled that, 2 days ago, and the second meeting in February.
We're paying attention.
And I'm sorry I got some things out of order, so Ms. Jet Harris and Ms. Uhas, do you have any update on the subcommittee?
No, we're going to meet the 13th. I was sick, and there was it was a lot. We were trying really hard. So we're going to meet on the 13th. Bill, are you going to be around for 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock in the morning?
I'm surely going to try. I will let you know.
Can we make it 10?
Schedule the 13th.
Kathy wants to do it at 10, so.
I actually think I have some kind of...
All right, if it's 9,
Well,
it's
to-
fine. Yeah.
I have a hearing scheduled with the 13th of...
January.
Tuesday, yeah,
It's Tuesday.
next
I
week.
may have a staff meeting scheduled for review
Well,
of the development, but let me double
Yeah,
check.
check and get back. I'm sorry, Ms. Hardy, did you have something else?
Yes, by the way, it was a big struggle, but you're stuck with me for your ex officio for the next 2 years.
Yay!
Congratulations, thank you. All right, where are we now? Let's see. Oh, I did go to the last planning meeting. Most of it was discussion about the election of officials, which they had, and they did take a vote on the building trails around Darrow's Pond and improving the parking, which they said did go along with the POCD. The next meeting is January 13th, and we have down that Miss Edwards is attending. Thank you so much, and thank you for taking minutes tonight. Anyway, just welcome everybody back, and do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.